Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll discuss the Qualcomm OT process and the Qualcomm recruitment process. So in this video, I'll explain all the stages that are involved in the recruitment process. So this was the on-campus placement of mine in the Qualcomm. So for those who are new, I am Surya Prakash. I have graduated in ECE department from NIT Warangal in the year 2019 and 23. So I am currently working as an associate engineer in Qualcomm. So I was selected in the summer internship for Qualcomm hardware in the year 21 and 22. So later it got converted into PTO with the 6 months internship plus full-time offer. So I did my internship in Bangalore office, and currently I'm working in Hyderabad office, and I was selected for the hardware profile, and you can follow me here. So first I want to discuss the brief timeline of the recruitment process. So the notification for the OT was released on August 9th, and the OT was on August 13th, Friday. And if shortlisted for the OT, the interview would be conducted on 14th of August, and the results would be declared on the same day. So this was the timeline. So basically the recruitment has happened in the 2 days, 13th and 14th of August. So these are the two important days. Coming to the eligibility, the CSC, ECE and EEE branches were allowed for the OT online test, and anyone above 6.9 CGPA could apply for it. And the selection procedure, there were 3 rounds of selection procedure. First one was OT, and the second one was a technical interview, and the third round was a HR round. So as I said, OT was on 13th of August, followed by technical interview on 14th August, and the HR round on the same day of 14th of August. So let us discuss in detail all the 3 rounds. First, let's discuss about the online test. So Qualcomm was the first hardware company that came to our college, and as I said, the OT was conducted on 13th of August. There was 3 sections in the OT: Aptitude, C programming, and the profile dependent. So each section has 20 questions, and there were 30 minutes given for each section. So in total 90 minutes in total. So that's 1.5 hours of online test. So the marking scheme was +1 for the correct answer and the -0.25 for the negative answer. So this was the online test. There were 3 sections. Let me discuss a brief overview of these 3 sections. Like I said, the first section was aptitude, and the second one was the C programming. So their questions were on C syntax, pointers, recursion queues, tags, linked list, and basic programming. And the next one was profile dependent, electronics or technical. So Qualcomm came for 2 roles, hardware and the software. So for the hardware role, there were digital questions, analog, semiconductor, physics, and the VLSI domain questions. So there are some tips for each of the sections. In aptitude, the time management is a key, and just the basic maths would be sufficient. You just have to focus on the time. And in the C programming, basic data structures and loops, syntax and pointers knowledge is needed. And for the electronics, revision of whatever the topics I have discussed in the intern checklist phase, that would be sufficient. So here is the checklist video. Here is the checklist. So I strongly suggest you to go through the intern checklist video. So there I have explained all these topics in detail, and you can watch it there. I have also explained the resources from which I have studied all these topics. So definitely do give it a watch. So coming to the aptitude section, it was there were 20 questions in the aptitude section, and it was for 30 minutes. So there were questions on time and work, probability, blood relations, profit and loss. There was a paragraph on the seating arrangement, and based on which there were 5 questions asked. So seating arrangement and data interpretation type questions are very important, as there are questions that will be linked to the given paragraph. So you have to aim in solving these questions, as if you can crack the sequence or the arrangement, you could easily answer all the other questions. So overall this section was easy. You just have to focus on the time. Time management is the key here. So just simple reasoning kinds of questions which are logical and comprehensive. You can do it with the basic maths. For the practice, you can solve general aptitude and verbal reasoning questions from IndiaBig's website. Also, I suggest you to solve some questions which can be asked during the interview. So you can find them in the Geeks for Geeks portal, and you can practice data interpretation questions from Hire Pro platform and also from the Geeks for Geeks. So these were the questions that were asked in the OT in the aptitude section. Next, moving to the C programming. So there were basic questions on C, which had C syntax, loops, arrays, pointers, recursion, and string-related questions, and also few questions from the data structures like stacks, queues, and linked list. And also there was one question from the operating system. So overall, this section was very basic. You just have to be clear with the basics of C. And coming to my preparation, most of my preparation was done from the 2 videos which I have already explained in the intern checklist video. So I urge you to look through it. So you can search them in YouTube and you can watch it there. So for the practice, I did most of my practice from IndiaBig's and Geeks for Geeks. After aptitude and the C programming, the next section was the technical section. So here we had questions on digital, Verilog, and static timing analysis. So in digital, there were questions on basic gates, K-maps, implementation of minimum number of NAND gates, decoders, latches, flip-flops, shift registers, setup and hold time, CMOS, microcontroller, op-amps, ADC, and some basic questions on analog electronics like BJT, diode, and MOS. For my practice, I referred to the digital electronics crash course on Creatrix channel by Shankar sir. You can watch it there. This is very helpful. And I referred Morris Manor for my practice, and I solved all the MCQs from IndiaBig's question under the digital electronics, and I solved all the gate questions. I explained in detail about each of the topics in the intern checklist video. You can watch it there. In the technical section, there were some questions on the Verilog too. So basic concepts in Verilog, different abstraction levels, and questions on modules and ports, behavior modeling, and system task related questions. So this can be easily done if you are clear with the basics in Verilog. So I refer to the book Samir Palnitkar for preparation of Verilog. So, and I also refer to icequal.com Verilog tutorials. That is also very good resource. And any other online resource would be sufficient for Verilog practice. And for the interview, I suggest you to do a Verilog project, which will add a lot of weight to your resume. And you can refer to good research papers on Verilog for project suggestions, for project ideas. So you can directly implement them, and that will add a lot of weight to your resume. Coming to the technical interview, after the online test, the shortlist was released in the evening. The shortlisted candidates were given interview links for the next day, that is 14th August. So there was only one technical interview and one HR round. So my interview was from 2:30 to 3. It was for 30 minutes only. So which were held on Teams, Microsoft Teams. And he was very friendly and started with my hobbies first, then moved to my formal introduction. So there were some technical questions in the interview, and he moved to my resume, was very interested in the project, and we almost spent like 8 minutes there. So I hope the importance of resume is very clear now. So you should be doing a project which is very important for hardware roles. Next, he asked me about the position of responsibilities. The interview lasted for 30 minutes. So 2 hours after the technical interview, there was a call from the HR. So the HR round lasted for almost 5 minutes. It was just a casual telephonic call. So there were basic generic questions like my introduction, feedback, and why Qualcomm, what are my long-term goals, my work location preference, and if I have any questions for the HR. So that was very generic, and there was nothing technical in the HR round. So 1 hour after the HR round was over, so the final select list for the Qualcomm was released, and I was selected in the hardware role. I'm planning to make a separate video on handling technical interviews and also HR interviews. So I would give my tips and suggestions. So do let me know about that in the comments. And if you have found this video helpful, do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.